Now, students, let's see how did Italy unified. If we talk about Italy, it was divided into various parts. Italian were scattered over several dynastic states, as well as the multinational Habsburg Empire. During the mid of 19th century, the north was under Austrian Habsburg, the central was under Pope, and the southern region were under Bourbon kings of Spain. Only one, Sardinia Piedmont, was under an Italian princely house. Not only this, the Italian language was not a common for and had many regional and local variation. As we have already told, that Giuseppe Mazzini, who tried to unify Italy, but the failure of the revolutionary uprising, both in 1831 and 1848, turned the responsibility of unification of Italy on the shoulders of King Victor Emmanuel II, who was ruler of Sardinia Piedmont. This was to be done through war. The elite of this region favored for the unification of Italy, as this would offer them economic prosperity and political dominance. Count Count Camillo di Cavour, he was the chief minister of Italy, who led the movement to unify the regions of Italy. He was neither a revolutionary nor a democrat. He was wealthy and educated elite who could speak French much better than Italian. It was due to the diplomacy skill of Cavour that allowed the Sardinia Piedmont along with France defeat the Austrian France in 1859. Apart from the regular troops, a large number of people voluntarily joined the army of Giuseppe Garibaldi. He was Italian journal and nationalist and had been the member of Young Italy movement. Garibaldi led his volunteer France in 1860 into South Italy and the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies, and got success in winning the support of the local peasants in order to remove the Spanish rulers. In 1861, Victor Emmanuel II was proclaimed as the King of Unified Italy. Students, we will see the unification of Britain was very strange. The formation of Britain was the result of a long process. Britain was not a nation before 18th century. It was an island which was inhabited by ethnic groups such as English, Welsh, Scot, or Irish. These groups had their own culture and political tradition. As English started growing wealthy and gaining powers and importance, they started extending their influence over the other nations of the islands. The English Parliament seized the powers from the monarchy in 1688. After a conflict, finally a nation state was formed with England at its center. 1707, the Act of Union came into being between England and Scotland. This resulted in the formation of United Kingdom of Great Britain. Soon, England imposed its influence on Scotland. Even the British Parliament was dominated by the English members. Later on, the culture and institution of Scotland were suppressed by the growing British power. For example, the Scottish was forced to not speak in their Gaelic language, or wear or bear national dress, and large number of Highlanders was forcibly driven out of their homeland. Ireland also has a similar story. This country was divided between Catholics and Protestants. English help English helped the Protestants of Ireland, and this resulted the dominance of Protestants over Catholics. The rebels led by the Catholics were suppressed by the British dominance. Wolfe Tone, who was a leading Irish revolutionary who formed a group named United Irishmen. He revolted against the English supremacy, but later on this revolt was suppressed by the English in 1789. Finally, in 1801, Ireland was forcibly incorporated into a United Kingdom. When the European countries achieved the status of the nation state, the next thing which gained importance was as to how the country should be visualized. During the 18th and 19th centuries, the artists tried to give a face to the nation. For this, they started portraying, portraying portraying it as a person, especially a female figure. The female from that was chosen to personality was chosen to personify the nation didn't stand for any particular woman in real life. Rather, it was done to give a rough idea of the nation as a concrete form. This depiction of female figure as a nation by various artists created allegory of the nation. All this started during French Revolution, where artists used the female allegory to represent ideas like liberty, justice, and the republic. To present ideas, these ideas, symbols, or specific objects were used by the artist. For example, the symbol used the liberty or red cap or the broken chain. In France, the female figure which was used to describe nation was given the name of Marianne. She was drawn with the characteristics of liberty and the republic. That is the red cap, tricolor, and cockade. Similarly, in Germany, the female figure used for the depicting Germany as a nation came to be the known as Germania. Germania is generally shown bearing a crown of oak leaves, as the German oak stands for heroism. During the end of 19th century, a new political change was noticed. Nationalism no longer retained as a idealistic liberal democratic sentiment of the first half of the century. During this period, nationalist groups became highly intolerant towards each other and were constantly in conflict. The major European powers tried to take advantage of this in the realizing their goal of imperialism. The area of Balkans, which was most desired area of fulfill the imperialist goals by the Europeans. This region was having geographical and ethnic variation, comprising modern-day Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Greece, Macedonia, Croatia, Bosnia, Slovenia, Serbia, and Montenegro, whose inhabitants were broadly known as the slaves. This area was under control of Ottoman Empire, from which Greece took its independence. The spread of the idea of romantic nationalism and the fall of Ottoman Empire resulted in high tension in this region. The regions with European subjects under its control began to separate away from it and formed up independent states. Hence, the rebellions start struggling so as to win back independence, as different Slavic nationalists were attempting hard to gain independence. A situation of conflict arose because the Balkan states were now interested in extending their territorial limits. The situation became more intense when, from one side, Balkans were turning into rivalries, and on the other side, Europeans came into the scene. European powers entered into rivalry with each other so as to establish their trade and colonies in Balkans regions. Powers like Russia, Germany, England, and Austro-Hungary was keen on establishing their own power over the Balkans. This resulted into series of wars which ended up with the beginning of First World War.